All right, let's talk about how to be safe on the stationary sander. Um, Most people have this idea that this is a machine that is harmless, that it can't hurt you. And while the likelihood of injury is lower and the potential injuries are not as bad as some other machines in our shop, this machine can definitely hurt you still. The number one injury that we see here is when people are more focused on their workpiece than their hands, and they run their knuckles or their fingertips into this abrasive while it's running. These are relatively coarse abrasives that we keep on this machine, and it will certainly take the skin off your knuckle right down to the bone, sand through your fingernails, sand your fingertips off, and it doesn't feel great. If you make a kind of a knuckle like this, if you bend your knuckle and you feel that, all you've got there protecting yourself is a thin layer of skin, and then it's the bone. And if you're not paying attention and you run that knuckle into this abrasive while it's running, it's going to take a lot of that skin off really quickly. I can attest that it doesn't feel good. So we want to make sure that we're keeping our fingertips and our knuckles away from this abrasive. Now, this machine does not function with the 2-inch rule. So it's very important that you pay attention. Now, when we're talking about protecting our fingers, the other thing we want to protect against are pinches. And what I'm talking about is getting my fingers stuck down in here in between the abrasive and the table. This would be a far worse injury than running your knuckle into this abrasive. It's going to take all the skin off. It's going to sand into your bones. It's going to hurt real bad. So you've got to make sure that you're keeping your fingers away from this pinch point. And that pinch point exists on the belt sander right here. It also exists right down here on the disc sander. So when we're making table adjustments, we want to make sure we keep this gap here as small as possible. That's going to reduce, not eliminate, but reduce the possibility that our fingers are getting stuck down in here. Okay? Next, we want to utilize our tools. We've looked at how to use a hand screw clamp. This allows us to hold a small or irregularly shaped piece of material and keep our hands far away from this abrasive. This is a great option to help keep you safe. Another option that we've got an assortment of jigs and fixtures that can be used at this machine. I'm not going to go into detail on all of those right now. The hand screw clamp, the miter gauge, those are the two that you will most likely be using in class. Now, you may have a situation where you've got a thin strip of material like this, and we need to do some sanding on it this way. And so in a situation like that, the preferred tool would be to use a wooden pad. And what this is, it's just a long pad with a handle on it. And this is going to allow me to apply pressure on my workpiece as I move it across the belt. But you can see my hands are well protected. This is also going to let me apply even pressure on my workpiece against the abrasive to get a better result. So the wooden pad is another good option. Of course, just like any time in the shop, we're always going to have our safety glasses on. Hearing protection is a good idea. It's optional. We've got earplugs for you if you would like to use those. But again, we want to be safe on this machine. And it starts and ends here with paying attention to where your fingers are and making sure we're not running them into the abrasive or into these pinch points.